Hi everyone, this is Leo from ThemeChills.com, and firstly I just want to say thanks for purchasing the Eternity HTML template. I hope you get what you need from it, and that's why I'm doing this video pretty much, so that way we can go through it step by step. You get to see some of the features that the template has, and you can refer back to this video anytime you have any questions. So firstly I'll just show you the template itself. Some of the features that you'll have access to on the front end. So the template actually comes with a fixed navigation structure, which allows you just to go to that specific section of the page. So we'll just go through the sections now. And as you can see, it'll just pretty much go to the corresponding area that you want it to go under. There's also the required focus states for the form. Now, one thing I'll point out about the form, it's left open. That means that you'll be able to use any script that you wish, whether it be PHP, .NET, it's pretty much up to you. So just find a script that will integrate nicely and you'll be able to make it work pretty easily. In addition to that, there's a Google map with a custom marker. You'll have access to the Photoshop file for the marker, so you'll be able to change it to whatever color scheme you like. All the colors are customizable as well, so you don't need to stick to this coral color scheme. And once again, you'll have access to the landing page Photoshop file as well, so I'll show you that in a moment. So let's just go to the top. And another feature that the template comes with is a lightbox gallery where you can toggle between each photo. You can add panoramic shots if you want, or just the standard 4x3 shots. It's up to you. There's these hover states where you'll be able to customize the label that you want, as you can see. And if we go to the groomsmen section as well as the bridesmaids section, they both have the flexi slider feature where you'll be able to put photos of any person you like or any product you like. It's really up to you. It is a wedding template, but it can be customized to suit any industry really. And the same applies for the bridesmaid section. What's great about this feature is that on mobile devices, the touch event actually slides the images across, which is pretty cool. Now, in the GIF section, the hover state will animate the logo of whether it's sponsors, in this case it's GIFs, but it can be whatever you like, and these can obviously click through to the corresponding company. The theme is responsive as well, so it'll work on iPads, iPhones, Android devices. Yeah, so it's pretty much good to go on that front. Also, if you click on the RSVP button, it'll automatically take you to the form, which is a pretty cool feature to have. That way the visitor can just gain access to the form if they want to skip all the other information. So yeah, that's pretty much the theme. Now let's go into how you go about customizing it and what the template comes with. So let me just bring that up. Okay, so once you've bought the template, you'll have a zip file which you'll need to extract the files from, and the files that will be contained within the zip file are a Photoshop file directory, HTML, and documentation. The video will be included in the documentation, and there's also written instructions where you'll be able to go through it step by step as well. It'll contain all the references to what each JavaScript file does, what each CSS file does, as well as how the grid structure is in place. Because one thing to note is that the grid structure is actually powered by the Foundation 4 framework. If you're not familiar with that, it's the guys over at Zurb. They created a framework that is mobile first, which is pretty cool. So there's more details of that in the documentation, which you'll be able to read through and just get more of an understanding as to how it works. I highly recommend you check it out because it's just going to make your life so much easier. But anyway, let's dive into the Photoshop files. So there's two Photoshop files. As I said, one contains the marker and the other contains the actual Eternity HTML template, which allows you to just pretty much pick and choose certain areas that you may want to customize to your liking. So the next section is the HTML section, which is probably where you'll be focusing most of your attention in. One thing to point out is fonts actually won't be included in the main download. This is actually my development version, therefore that's why you're seeing that. But I just want to point out that the fonts will not be included, but you'll still be able to download them. So, and there's references in the documentation file which will point you to the corresponding fonts and how you can download them, etc. Let me bring up Sublime Text. I'll open up the HTML section and open up the index file. As you can see, it's referencing the Foundation framework. The fonts are also, there's Google fonts as well as server-side fonts that you'll be able to have references to as well. So it pretty much depends if you want to use them. You'll have access to all that information. So the template also uses Font Awesome icons, which is fantastic for responsive designs because it allows for those fonts or icons to not pixelate. Let's just go through on how you can, for example, change the color scheme of the template. So firstly, let me open it up in the browser, and you'll see that all the placeholder imagery sections are labeled. The template obviously doesn't contain the images themselves because they have certain licensing requirements, but as you can see, all the functionality is exactly the same. It's just a matter of you finding the images you want to put in there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So logos are there as well, and everything's pretty much as it is. So suppose you wanted to change the coral color to a green, for example. So what I would do is probably, there's multiple ways of doing this. You can use a color picker. I have this tool here that I use sometimes called Color Cop that allows me to pick a specific color. That's one option. Otherwise, you can actually inspect the element, as I'm sure we are all aware how to do this. So let me bring that up, and I'm just going to collapse it. And so let's suppose I want to change the color of the headings. So let me take a look. Section title, so it contains this hex code. So I'm just going to copy that. I'll go into Sublime. The CSS is broken down into all these sections. Now, media queries I would only access if I wanted to change something specific to certain device dimensions, but I would suggest that you mainly focus on the style.css, and it's got a table of content that allows you to go to the specific section. Alternatively, you can actually do a Control F and you paste the corresponding hex code, and obviously you probably would want to find all the hex codes that are similar to each other if you wanted to keep the color scheme consistent. But for the purpose of the demo, I'll just show you how to find the headings, for example. So is it button? No, it's not a button. It's not the logo. What do we have up there? We got the side nav. There we go. So it's the headings. And I'm going to change the headings to be a color green. Okay. So then we'll go to the browser. If all went well, I'll refresh that. And now my headings should be all green. Yep, looks good. So actually it doesn't look good, but I think you get my point. So let me just see if we can make this navigation green as well. So let's find that hex code again. We'll just take a look. Is it an input? No, it's not really an input. It's not a button. That being said, let's change the buttons as well. I want them to be green as well. Oops. Sorry, let me go back to that. Okay. So let's change that to be green. And let's keep searching. Logo. Why not? Now, one thing to point out is that there is a fallback color. So this is for older browsers such as Internet Explorer, I think version 8, as well as other older browsers. Otherwise you can use RGBA, which gives you the background color with transparency. If you want to find out what the RGBA color is, you can do that through Photoshop, or you can use that tool I mentioned before, ColorCop, which should do the trick as well. So let me just bring that up. So what hex code was that? So it is DE67. Okay, so RGB is 222.103.95. Okay, actually that said it there, my apologies. So let's go for the color, let's go for that one. So we'll go to 59, 188, 67. Opacity we'll leave as is, and let's grab that color actually. We'll grab that hex code there. Alright. Let me close that down for now. And we will open up the browser. That's the demo, so let me bring up the other one. There you go. So then, as you can see, you can start changing the color scheme to suit your needs. It's really flexible on that front. The buttons have changed as well. There's hover states that you can change as well. So it's really up to whatever you decide to do. Now the grid can actually be changed as well. What I would recommend, because I don't want to make this video too long, I'd probably recommend you checking out Foundation, because Foundation Zerb and the grid system. Here you go. So you probably want to click on Get Started. Actually, it's probably the better option. Click on Grid, and this will pretty much go through in detail how the grid works, how you can, for example, if you wanted for this column to be right aligned, how you can go about doing that. It's all powered by this framework, which makes it that much more customizable and flexible to change it as you see fit. So I think that's pretty much all that there is to cover. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact me directly. There's my email address on the documentation file, as well as on my ThemeForest page, so feel free to do that. Otherwise, I would recommend that you check out themechills.com, where I'll be blogging about my next template or theme. I'm thinking it might be a ghost theme, but we'll see. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter there, where I'll provide you with a free landing page template if you so desire. It's pretty much up to you. Otherwise, just feel free to stop by, say hello. Always happy to speak to my customers, as well as to help anyone out that that needs it. So thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has been useful, and I'll speak to you and see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.